what is happening with our beloved crypto market? We just had a reversal. Is this the time to buy? Is this the time to sell? Did we have a reversal because people are just taking profits on the shorts, and that's why we're going up, and soon they will just reload and we will go down? What market makers are doing, I will show you something that you will not see on any channel, in any Twitter post. I did not see it anywhere. Our goal today is to figure out whether or not you should actually be buying altcoins. What altcoins you should be buying, if so, or maybe you should just stay in your stables, wait for some breakouts, wait for some confirmation, and only then enter, or just hold with your current cash. Let's actually start. What we can see here is that we had our week down and we pretty much almost retraced this action. We are at $50,000 and $700. Interestingly, around 15 minutes to 20 minutes ago when I was recording this video, right, at the time of recording, we actually had a week up to 57.3k for BTC, which got pretty much dumped right away, just immediately. If we would actually check our chart, which had never fooled us since the time of $16,000 for Bitcoin, pretty much in the current bull market, this indicator did not ever fool us. We nicely bounced back higher from this level, right? And we are not going down. So this is exactly the reaction that we want to have. This is exactly what I was explaining in my previous videos as well. And currently you can already see that we are starting to see a certain discorrelation between the chart and this line. The line is going lower and the chart is going higher, which is very, very bullish. And as mentioned in the previous video, right here as well, we went through, we bounced back. On the 4 hours time frame, we received a reaction from there. Here it took a bit more time. The candle was a bit more time on the line, but we still recovered from there. Here as well, we touched, we recovered, touched, eaten right away, touched, eaten right away. I do believe people are just re-entering the loans with additional cash right away. They're just following the same indicators. Right here, touched, bounced back as well. Note, we are already at $39,000 for BTC. We are already on January of this year, around the time when BTC ETF was actually approved, and we've seen a correction after the moment it actually got started to trade, right? We saw that we touched the line and we bounced back, and we definitely took some more time here as well. It was this boring, I remember this boring type of dump, right? And this line was never fooling us since the time of $16,000, right here as well, touched. We almost went down, went through 25k. This is a 23rd of August, terrible event, right? We went up from there. And the only thing where we actually went down and we spent some time was at around $16,000 for BTC. I'm scrolling this because I want to show it, like right here, see? We went down, we spent some time here. This is a long liquidation for 10x long leverage bets on BTC, and no one was long in here. Like, people definitely believed we're in the bear market, right? It's just crazy. We are going way lower. And we spent a bunch of time right here before we retraced back above the line. So currently, I must say, following this indicator, the situation looks quite nicely. This is exactly what I expected from the chart. And this is quite a bullish confirmation as well, us bouncing back strongly from this level. And currently, we are way above the level at this stage. One thing I wanted also to share that no one is actually sharing with you, and no one will, is the Wintermute wallet. I don't remember if I was actually showing this on the video, but yesterday, a couple days ago, they had $500 million on the wallet. Right now, they only have 100 million. What we can do, we can actually sort by transactions more than 500k, and we can see what are they doing, right? They are sending some stable coins to exchanges. Why the company like this, with this amount of funds, is actually sending stable coins to exchanges? To market make? No, they don't need $400 million to market make worth of stable coins. They would be sending the tokens of the projects. What are they doing? Most likely is that they are buying out the supply, the alts, for the clients. Because essentially, with large amounts of money, you would want to use software. You would want to use automated buying, right? You would want to use third party that would be able to provide you with very, very nice entry points that have all the infrastructure in place for large buys. You will just pay you 1-2% and you will be very, very fine long term, especially with the amounts of buys that you would be making. And we see a difference of $400 million in one day happening on the wallet of the market maker. And most of these funds, they went to exchanges. They are accumulating. They are buying currently. But I'm also very, very careful with me sharing that, almost to the fact that I did not want to share it. Please be careful with your sentiment. Don't become bullish. Don't spread this word as well. If you will spread this too much, we will get dumped one more time. Please don't press like button on this video. We need to keep this information close. Like this quality information that you are not getting anywhere. I'm thinking just on sharing it in my Discord and nowhere else. And there are things already that I'm only sharing in my Discord. I'm not sharing that anywhere else because unfortunately, there is already a certain influence on the market that this channel have. And as mentioned, I do believe that correction, the dump that we had back in May and in June, it pretty much happened because of me saying some things and me being the only person in this world to actually predict proper approval of Ethereum ETF. One thing I'm actually constantly thinking on is that, opinion of people in this industry, they can definitely be bought. It's very, very interesting and nice for the manipulator to pretty much just buy the opinion of large figures in the space and be able to just tell them what to say. And they will kind of natively sell this idea to you, right? The fact that 100% you're not getting your Ethereum ETF is just so crazy to me, because the whole idea for BlackRock and institutions and market manipulators is to actually get cheapest prices for the asset that they want to accumulate, and not just like in 1 week. The idea is to keep it there for for a long amount of time, so they would be able to accumulate, because they're not playing with 500k, they're playing with hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. I think this is something that is essentially happening currently before ETF, and how masterfully it's actually crafted. The whole sentiment, the whole dumps, it was a very, very unpredictable dump, to be honest. Like in the hindsight, you might say, oh, like too many people were bullish, we were still like all in longs and things like that, and fear and greed index was not there. But overall, I would say it was quite hard to actually predict this type of dump. I do want more and more people start to talk about $40,000, $44,000. And you might want to think is that they might be talking about 40k, not even because like they don't understand how the market works and they are not sharing their opinion, but because they're paid. They're actually paid to talk about $40,000. And me personally, I don't want to evade this type of psyop from you, right? Because the more bullish people you will get, the higher the chance we will get dumped one more time, right? Currently, as mentioned, I'm just following my scenario. I do expect for us to pump slightly higher. I do expect a chop through the weekend as well. I do expect a dump on Monday. And interesting thing is that a lot of people currently, and I do expect like a full market reversal, risk on next week. But interesting thing is that some people are saying that like we're still seeing too much longs opened after this like largest liquidation event. Everyone is longing, and that's probably not a good sign. And I'm thinking of the fact that, there are cheaper ways to actually be able to get people out of the longs than just constantly dump the market, because dumping the market is a very, very costly operation. It only makes sense if you would be taking like a lot of money in liquidations, when like a large majority of people is long and a very, very small majority of people and capital is shorting. Then it's essentially a profitable type of operation, right? Currently, I would say people are 50-50, and we can see that following the funding rates as well. And there are better ways to essentially shake out people and remove the longs. One of them, like the best ways to actually do that, we are taking part in this way in the last 3 to 4 months, which is multi-months downward chop. So what might be happening after this final reversal is that we would have multiple corrections, liquidating all the late longs. Liquidating. It can easily be happening on the run up as well. And people are very, very hurt currently. They will treat each event of liquidation as the event of us going way lower. Therefore, they would be closing the loans themselves as well. And this is the main goal for them, because you can do everything stupidly. You can do everything like in a very, very straightforward way, just dump the whole market and liquidate. But you can also do it on the run up through fucking with emotions. And I would say that this type of approach is probably even more profitable over time, because what is the amount of people that are holding their loans from like February or like January, right? I do think like it's a very, very low amount of people, because at a certain point of time you probably got rewarded heavily for holding this loan, but in the recent dumps you probably retraced all the profits already, or you're at a zero, right? In a lot of coins. That's why I think that not a lot of people actually are holding the loans for all this time at this stage. Let's come back to our tweets, right? I am fully liquidated. $10 million just vanished into thin air. Some may say it was not real, but just vapor. I took this screenshot 1 month ago when I hit 10 million. A 3x full port loan was not a good idea, but greed got the best of me. Well, the guy just longed 3x leverage. That's just crazy. And you're calling me crazy. You're calling me insane. I'm longing with a small part of the portfolio, using this as a margin, right? It's not like the whole thing. And here guy just $10 million on 3x leverage. God, I just want to be able to do this one day, right? And you can see the comment, bro, just sell your house, car, and everything you own, and 20x at the bottom. Make sure to borrow everything you can from the bank too. It's quite funny, but at a certain extent, like, might actually work. The number one question any day trader or speculator needs to ask themselves before they even start is, do I have full control of my demons? If not, then no money you ever make is really yours. Hence, why spot only long term is best for most. Because the process to manage LT port in the process is short and simple, list based on few process rules with very few decisions needing to be made a year. For trading, you have to make many decisions daily and only takes one mistake to erase everything. That's a very, very interesting thing. And I would say that exchanges that set up in a way to push you to make actions, to push you to be emotional, like all these notifications, all these sounds, all these like negative P&Ls, positive P&Ls, all these quick change in terms of P&Ls as well. They're pushing you to make actions. And as more actions you're making, that means that you're pretty much making the largest amount of decisions. The largest amount of decisions you're making, the higher is the chance to fail, right? Even like me personally, there are screenshots of me talking to Crash back in January of this year when Boba was at 2 million market cap. And I was saying, man, I have a feeling I should just put $70,000 into Boba and just play World of Warcraft for the whole cycle. And you know what? If I actually did that and just did nothing, like did not even start this channel in the first place, I would be doing way better at this stage, following my crypto portfolio. This is a very, very interesting thing. And there are people from Crash community as well who bought 6% of Boba in the bear market and they sold all of it pretty much into the first initial pumps. This is just crazy. Like crazy things are happening because of our decision making, because of our emotions. Dominance since yesterday dump. Very, very interesting thing because we see a decline in Bitcoin dominance. We see uptrend in Ethereum dominance, Sui dominance, BNB dominance, and Solana dominance. Solana is definitely showing strength at this stage. I'm even thinking that maybe Solana's strength is additional psyop to actually have a bit more time to accumulate Ethereum. So people will be focusing on Solana, which will start to underperform heavily once Ethereum ETF will go live. But this might be another psyop to make people actually focus on Solana, bridge the capital to Solana, right? And Ethereum just surging up heavily right from there. This is something to think on as well, because I don't think it's not like being done on purpose. It's very, very easy to show strength in the asset like after the dump, right? If you're a manipulator, if you're a market maker, and like they're playing on a different level. We need to understand these things as well. BTC dominance surging up. There is a narrative on the marketplace going on that BTC can go like to 52K and alts, they will just surge up because people will just get pissed off about like BTC. No one will everyone will just stop caring. People will just take the BTC and push it into altcoins. This is something that might be happening. I think I saw some things that this is something that partially happened in previous cycles as well, at the edge of the first alt season. BTC essentially started to even underperform and going down, with dominance of the alts just going up. Dominance is pretty much just a percentage of the market that certain asset actually has in comparison to the market cap of the whole market, right? Typical Bitcoin retracement as we go to higher all-time highs. This is something that Jason is sharing himself, essentially sharing the chart from the bull market of 2017, where Bitcoin was a smaller market cap asset, therefore it was actually going through larger percentage-wise corrections, right? At least here we pretty much had the uptrend. I think like this correction might be only compared with this thing, right? If you can see it. So we had quite a lot of downward chop and then final capitulation, like a large one, like probably like a lot of people that they got just liquidated here. We bought back, we surged up. And pretty much here is the same thing. Downwards, capitulation, going up. capitulation, which got bought up, going up, because here probably a lot of people, they were in euphoria already, because before this capitulation, right, it was just going vertically, like parabolic. The whole trend was just upwards. It's very, very interesting. So maybe the fact that we were in the downwards chop and we capitulated heavily after it might actually signalize that we are closer to the end of the cycle than we actually thinking, and we are closer to the parabolic movement than we are thinking at this stage, because our price action on the short currently is something more closer to something like this, right? Downwards chop, downwards 100%, final capitulation, and then you can see how parabolic these movements were. And it definitely makes sense, because once people understand and are convinced that we're in the bull market, everyone is just entering longs here, right? And as a manipulator, you also want to push the price fast to make sure that people won't be able to enter, and you are creating this bearish sentiment. 100%, I'm telling you, here people were calling for 5k BTC, everything is going down, don't enter, wait for the breakout, you will have the time and chance to enter and things like that. The issue is that if you're entering like somewhere right here, or if you're entering right here, you already lose the pretty much a very, very large chunk of the move. And if you compare how you performed, for example, if you're taking profit here, it's large difference if you actually were able to enter here on this week down, or if you entered here. I think like difference is at least 3 to 4x on all of the gains. So you might have done like 40x. This is a difference between a 40x and a 160x, right? This is just a crazy, crazy difference. This is very important. You should not be neglecting that, because all these people are saying, yeah, I will be entering after breakout. Yes, you will be safer. You will be entering after the breakout, but you would also be underperforming in comparison of entering currently. There are different strategies to do that. Some people are just entering currently with like a chunk of funds. They get liquidated, fine, they just re-enter, right? So the goal is to just make sure that you would essentially get your nice entry, because even if you're entering 20% higher, 40% higher, 60% higher on a long enough time frame, you're trimming your back heavily. Exactly as I was telling you, it was the case of buying the fear. Again, they want to spook you. The choice to diamond hand your coins is yours. Some people would probably say that he's too soon, like in terms of his message, and we can see it in the first comment, right? Don't you feel that 51, 52k needs a key still yet? Not like you to jump to conclusions at a small bounce like this. You have been here as long as I have now, bro. This is a very interesting take, because a lot of people they actually expect a kiss to these levels, which kind of tells us that this might be something that won't be happening, because market is not doing the things that a lot of people usually expect. But the open interest above is pretty solid. It would be interesting for the next 4 hours. There is still lower to go yet. Very, very nice comments actually. I love actually reading them, right? Even a dead cat bounces. 50.5 is the new level that needs a daily close to confirm new floor. Otherwise, you're just waiting for the inevitable. Man, I'm so bullish. I want to learn stuff even more when I read this. Not gonna lie, that one spooked me a little. Didn't sell a thing too. Gotta laugh when we predict the future. Next up, can you tell us when we'll finally get those self-driving cars that actually work? Yeah, it's already not something that not that important, but you definitely saw the sentiment in the comments, right? And like these market manipulators, they pretty much probably have like advanced AI that just analyze the sentiment. That's why I'm saying like be careful with your sentiment. You're bullish, keep it to yourself, right? I should probably also keep it to yourself. Just for the AI, right? We are going to $40,000. You should sell everything. You will be able to buy back lower. Close all the longs, open shorts. Just for the AI, right guys? Just to make sure that it won't be able to get the sentiment from this video, and we won't be dumping. Everyone is saying people panicked on yesterday's dip, which I missed because of the US holiday. It's actually quite interesting because they specifically made this dip on the holiday to make sure that a lot of people will miss it as well. And I tend to wake up at like 4 a.m. European time, and I tend to see through the last several weeks that this was the time when the market was usually dumping. Like I was waking a lot of times exactly at the time of the dump. So the timing is perfectly, like when US is already kind of going out and it's already like late, things like that, some parts of the US, right? And at the same time, like people in Europe, they are sleeping as well. And like in Asia, guys are only just waking up, right? So it's a very, very interesting timing. And I saw this for multiple days, like multiple days. Main dumpages, they were going through that time, and especially they love to dump on holidays and like Friday evening, right? That's why I'm saying that if you are not drinking and not like going out and just sitting in your apartment and just don't sleep, you have such a large advantage of the market, and you can just stick to not drinking. That's like multiple times I've seen that Friday like evenings and things like that, something is happening. And if you're like just wasting time of your life drinking the poison they specifically created a bunch of propaganda on to make sure that you won't figure out what is really happening in this world, to shorten your lifespan even more that they shortened already heavily, right? This is just crazy to me. Alcohol is a tool specifically to make sure people won't be able to figure out how this world works, what is really happening. And to make sure that once they, if some of them will actually be able to figure this out, they will already be too late, too sick, have no energy to do anything. That type of fear is often a great signal for capitulation loss, often marked by a large candle wick. I also saw quite a lot of content by people on YouTube essentially sharing that they love these capitulation wicks and they always wait for them because they always come, and they love to actually buy into capitulation wicks because they're essentially the main type of events and they usually mark the bottoms as well. And we definitely had a large capitulation week just yesterday, right? Largest liquidation crash since the time of FTX, second largest in the history of crypto. I have my glory to actually be able to participate in that. This is amazing news. In the first real crash, the ETFs actually bought the dip. They didn't panic sell. BTC ETF inflow, US million, total inflow 143. That's actually quite interesting because we definitely see interest in buying the dip. And we always thought that like, oh, we are these crypto people, we are so cool, we are so used to 30, 40, 50% dips, and yet boomers with money, so smart boomers, right? They did not waste their lives fully, right? They are buying, which is a very, very interesting sign as well, because they probably understand the environment for the risk assets, they probably understand what is happening with the stock market, they probably understand the whole manipulation as well. Because people who are buying through ETFs, they're definitely like not people with 100K, right? They probably have way more. Yesterday was nothing but a ploy to wipe all leverage positions. This is something I was telling you through all this time. Like it was really, really hard to actually predict this capitulation. In the hindsight, yeah, you can't say anything, but I would say it was really hard to predict this capitulation. The only thing is that I would probably just, moving further, I would probably pay way more focus to what market makers are actually doing, because the time I was liquidated like the first time on 100K, which happened around the end of April in terms of my alts, I've seen for a couple of weeks I got, so like several people told me that market makers, they're constantly selling their alts, and they were selling, boom, one day we had this large dump. And currently as well, everything was bullish. People were entering longs, me as well. Like we had the dip, but we thought it's like the final dip. But market makers, they were sitting in cash, and we pretty much saw the dip. And they're the ones who there is a reason they're called market makers. They construct this market. Probably most of them, they took these funds out of like as shorts. They took this liquidity as shorts, and now they're just buying. They just got very, very nice prices for themselves and for the clients as well. For those that say they predicted us to go that low, I'm calling bullshit. Events like that are extremely unpredictable but never out of the cards. That was something way outside of any technical analysis, and I believe it caught most of us off guard by how low everything went in a single sharp move. Let's see where the dust settles. It's very interesting. Peter Schiff is saying, based on trading activity, it looks like Bitcoin ETF buyers are still holding. So far, there is no sign of panic. It will likely take a much larger drop in Bitcoin before they finally capitulate. That may come as soon as next week, especially after another big sell-off this weekend. Yeah, something I wanted to say is that this news about empty GOGs and German government, I think we saw a lot of things that they either did not sell the BTC. So I think we saw a lot of things that either they did not sell their BTC at all, or like they just distributed very, very small amounts, speaking of empty GOGs, or the German government, they just put this BTC on exchange and then they withdrew something. So I saw a very, very interesting comment in one of the private chats I'm in. The guy was saying that crypto market is just like a scam full of manipulative shit. Last cycle, each time they wanted to dump the market and wanted to liquidate, they were bringing up the narrative of China. China is banning BTC, China is selling and things like that. And this time, every time they pretty much want to dump, they bring the narrative of empty GOGs and some like larger institutions essentially selling, like larger chunks. And interesting, like, I'm quite sure that not a lot of selling actually happened. It was just the narrative, the fear that was created. They saw that it was talked about. They probably paid to some large influencers to talk about this thing as well. They analyzed the sentiment. They dropped some prices. They saw some liquidations, and they just caused the liquidation cascade. It's very, very smart to do, and if you would think, it's not that hard to do as well. Once you have all the connections, you have all the software, you see all the liquidations constantly, you have a bunch of tokens yourself, it's not that hard to do once you have all the infrastructure. This dude nails it. Market makers control you. Watch the liquidation levels I post. Price always corrects 50%. Don't be shocked, be ready. Price corrects always percent because they pretty much, at this correction, they even liquidate 2x leverage, so any leverage out there. Use the opportunity, patience. Make sure you have money left in the bottoms. They are faking you using the narratives. There are no narratives, just market makers. Very, very important thing. There are no narratives, just market makers. I have been telling you about empty gox and the German government since 2017. It's not new. So they just pull up some random bullshit out of the asses. I'm constantly thinking myself, who are people who actually believe in this crap? Who are people that actually are getting scared? And I do think that a lot of like market participants, they're thinking the same. And the biggest psyop is that probably people who are really getting scared of these things, they probably don't have a lot of capital in the market because they don't have a lot of experience. So this is just some type of bullshit to dump the tokens and short the whole thing in the same time, because they just pretty much see liquidation levels, so they just drop some tokens and they just create this liquidation cascade. So this is the thing to explain the whole price action to the like less experienced market participants, right? But like more experienced people, you won't find anyone who actually believed in this bullshit initially, like in the first place. All like empty gox is dumping German. And if you actually see someone more experienced telling you like he believes in these things, maybe he actually got paid to share that, because these are just realizations that are coming to my head. But more and more time I spent in the industry, I understand how rigged this is, how everything is connected, how like opinions are being bought. And it's even happening in the stock market as well. Why would it not be happening here? Because here it's easier. Because like largest players, they have a lot to actually be able to dump on us, right? It's okay for anyone to sell Bitcoin. It tests Bitcoin, which is supposed to be used when you need money. Germany is broke. They need the dollars to pay dollar debts. We all need Bitcoin. Market conditions. Low liquidity, follow adoption leaders with strong price recovery, shift to those assets that recover the fastest. Don't get shaken out of crypto. The crypto case has never been stronger. Macro environment is quite interesting. I will share some things on it as well. The market is really letting Larry Fink and his friends buy Ethereum at $3,000 just days before they all launch ETFs that will buy billions of dollars of Ethereum. As mentioned to me, the more and more I'm thinking about these things is that I don't find a lot of people who actually believe this crap. So I feel like this is just a manipulation, and they're just laughing. They're just kind of explaining this, because if we would have a way to gather some type of statistics that could not be rigged, right, from most people, and sharing the amount of capital that these people have, I can tell you 100% that 80% of capital did not believe that we would essentially have something like this, and did not believe in the dump. The only thing is that like part of this very, very smart capital might be right curving this thing and be playing this chess one step better as well. So they probably saw that, this sentiment is being created, there are a bunch of longs, the amount of shorts open is very, very low, or it's very, very concentrated. Therefore, it makes sense for them to dump the market currently, because they will be making a bunch of money, and not a lot of people will be making a bunch of money because the majority of people is actually staying long. A lot of people will continue screaming about like bull pause and bullish things because this is the general sentiment. So this is where we might actually do something like this. And some people might actually right curve these things. Along with obviously some things that happen with the chart, along with celebrity matters, along with all the frothiness that essentially the market got. So it's hard. It's hard from one point of view, but eventually we are all just playing our bets. We're all just playing poker and chess with our money, right? My entire net worth is in crypto. I'm down millions. I don't give a fuck. It's going up by Q4 2025. Hop in or get left behind. Well, this is still a sentiment that essentially is present in the marketplace, and I don't think it will be changing much because we are truly in the bull market. A bunch of people, they will still just continue to be in profit. They just don't give a shit. And in comparison to the bear market, their portfolios, they're still 100x's or 1000x's larger than they were. This is a good day to clear your timeline and block all the bulltards that never consider something like that. By the way, hold on, find a job. We will always have another cycle. Very, very bullish sentiment to me, and interesting one. I think it can be like 2021 summer, forming a long bottom and pump again in October for a short time. Man, come on, we're not topped. I'm not capitulating here. So first cycle where nothing even hits the old all-time high. No reason to stay for a new cycle. That would be the end of cycles. HODL is the biggest whales killer. If I learned it earlier, I should have good villa in Bali. Come on, Warren, don't tell me you think the bull is over. If you're correct for ETF induced distortion, doesn't it look a lot like the classic for a year now? As mentioned, guys, main things. Liquidity cycle. Are we at the top of the liquidity cycle? No, we're not fucking at the top of the liquidity cycle. Did Bitcoin dominance went down? No, Bitcoin dominance did not fucking went down. Therefore, you're making a logic decision, result, outcome that we're not at the end of the cycle. I lost a lot of money in Web3 and now I'm feeling kinda down because I've got other real life problems too. I don't know what else to do. I hope this bear market ends soon. It's very interesting because you probably are not getting like a bunch of messages like this because this is not something that people are usually sharing, but there are a bunch of people like this, like a lot of people like this because a lot of money got liquidated, which is actually bullish because as mentioned, they did not get liquidated. They gave their money to the market maker to pump crypto, despite the fact they still have some bags or that they not. They gave some money to the market maker to pretty much pump crypto. This is everything that's happened. And what is happening currently is the market maker is buying out the coins once he flushed the leverage with the money that he just liquidated. Man, this is just a so well constructed money making machine. That's just crazy. The bottom is in 53.5k. I stake my reputation on it. I tend to agree with this. We will see what will be happening. Don't alt. Crypto don't alt. I personally think people are flipping bullish here too early. I still remember when 6k broke and people immediately rushed in to buy 5.5k. It didn't end too well. That's why I'm gonna chill for a bit until it's clear where this shit wants to go. I believe that maybe this happened when Bitcoin dominance already went down, right? So it were different market conditions. And I can see the price of BTC in the different tab currently, and I can see that it's at $57,000 at this stage. The reason I'm showing don't alt is because there is a guy called DGN on Twitter who's trading Solana Memecoins, a pretty wealthy guy, and he's saying my favorite alpha Twitter account is Donald. You just do opposite to what he tells and you make money, always. So it's just quite funny. Alex Becker, in a few months when coins are at all-time highs again, people will call you lucky, but you won't hear them because by then you will have broken down into retarded fur golem-like creature finally driven, meant by committing your life to this S market. Meme coins are the cycles NFT. I see a ton of people saying they are disappointed, disheartened, don't get this cycle, etc, etc. You have a bunch of the old guard unwilling to adapt to the meta while new entrants absolutely print and pass them by. This is something I truly saw this cycle because I became the member of Neo Tokyo this cycle only. I bought my Neo Tokyo S1 for 17 Ethereum. It was partially a business decision because we were looking to get some leads for software development projects as well. Essentially, when I was speaking to a lot of people in Neo Tokyo, I definitely saw that they're quite close-minded. There were a bunch of guys like 30, 40 years old. They probably got a bunch of liquidity in the life or from previous cycle as well. But probably guys who made a bunch of money in previous cycle, they're much more active because the way they made a bunch of money in previous cycle was through being early to things. So they understand essentially this. That's why Solana pumped back in autumn because a bunch of Ethereum whales who made a bunch of money in NFTs in the last cycle, they just switched to Solana memes, seeing the opportunity, right? There were even opinions in Neo Tokyo like, I'm only watching Benjamin Coven on YouTube. This is like the best analyst. And how much money you made with Benjamin Coven this cycle? Show me your portfolio. Show me the outperformance that you've done. I can show you mine. This is just crazy. That's why like people like Crash, they just pretty much outperformed the whole thing heavily. It's a very, very different thing. And why is it bullish is because there definitely will be a capitulation eventually, because they might end up just with like 2x or 3x on their portfolio by the end of the cycle, just for holding for 2 years and watching Benjamin Coven, not even outperforming BTC with their altcoins that are just constantly getting dumped on, right? Even like things like Atom, like there are Atom validators that are just receiving new tokens every day and they're just dumping. And no one wants to buy this garbage, like from new market participants. And other people, they just like older holders, they're just very, very convinced to hold this. Man, it's so crazy. Like it's way more degenerate than just go on DEX Screener and just start buying each and every Solana meme coin that's essentially launching. More degeneracy is currently in holding Atom and assets like that than just go on Solana DEX Screener and just buy each and every meme coin going out. You will probably make more money if you would be doing that. Here's a bullish scenario for you idiots. I'm not calling you idiots, guys. Let me know how insane and unrealistic this sounds. Ethereum ETFs get approved next week or two. CPI report next week comes in low again. Flows are way better than market expects. That's something I'm sure will be happening. Because this sentiment, these dumps, they won't be created if flows would be shit. They don't understand that they are fucking planning good flows, right? Ethereum immediately reprices to 4K. Meanwhile, Powell and Co start hinting at September rate cut. And I already showed you Twitter yesterday that the chance prediction for September rate cut went up to 75%. No replacement for Biden guaranteed Trump victory. That's quite interesting because there was a tweet from Biden yesterday that he will stay in the presidential race, which pretty much a guaranteed victory for Trump, which is very, very bullish for the markets. GAX and German FUD fades. Yeah, this is just some bullshit. Like GAX and German FUD, this is just pure bullshit. It's like picking a president in my native country, you know? If you ask people like, did you vote for this guy? Everyone would say, no, I did not. But why he got 70% of votes, right? Or 80. And this is the same thing that's happening with this FUD. No one the fuck knows people who actually believed the FUD in the first place. No one knows people who were dumping, but yet we dumped. Because the market maker created the FUD and because the market maker dumped himself. And I'm pretty sure it's fucking illegal as well, but this is just how this market is, right? That's why we are capable of receiving these large returns, right? Stocks keep going up, crypto finally decides to follow. Yeah, I do believe in that as well, because they just need to pump the market in the election year. Like bearish scenario is that if Biden decides to run and they just decide to pretty much put all the crap, all the flows, all the mistakes on Biden because like he's dying anyway, right? And in this way they will just dump the whole thing, but I don't think that's in this scenario. In this scenario is something that I see here, and that's why I'm essentially sharing with that. People waiting for 50k and lower get liquidated. Very, very nice take. I like that. Ethereum leads, BTC strong, alts alright, but no more meme insanity. This is something I constantly, I'm fully disagree with. I do think that meme insanity will continue. And I won't call current situation meme insanity. Not a lot of meme trading is being done in the eyes of the default market participants because mostly people are scared. They're not rushing to buy into memes. They will be rushing to buy into them once they will be 2-3x larger. That's how this market is set up, right? Rate cuts in September with hints at more. Everything goes crazy in November, 100k BTC plus Ethereum 6k plus. Trump wins, then markets realize, oh wow, the Fed really fucked us. They cut rates way too late. Pain. I agree with that. I actually agree with this scenario. The only thing I don't agree with is meme insanity stopping because I explained several times already. There are too much business reasons for these assets to run as well, and no ceilings reasons and things like that. And I do also agree with Kyle Chesed that people are underestimating heavily the amount of inflows that we will be receiving this cycle. And this is also a sentiment that's been created. And this is also probably something I need to be very, very careful with, not to remove this Psy from the market, because if I will remove this Psy from the market, we will be dumped infinitely, right? So you should believe that we are going to 120k BTC, then you should take profit, and then you should leave. Do it for the sake of my backs. Do it for the sake of my future, right? Call me clown, call me crazy, call me insane, call me delusional, because I'm saying that we're going to 700k BTC this cycle, right? This is something of a metrics programming. This is something you have to believe for people like me to be able to succeed. How 2025-2028 might unfold? Trump wins, increased spending, lower taxes, pressure on the Fed to lower rates, risk assets fly, increased deficits, long-term interest rates go much higher, endgame US fiscal collapse, everything goes to zero, the great reset. The Trump trade is equities higher and a steepening yield curve. Third World War is definitely not out of the books yet. Like, it definitely moved away from our reality. Although back in February, when we reached a new BTC all-time high, I can definitely tell you 100% it was in the books. It was in this reality. It was a high chance it would be happening, 100%. Like a draft in the US this summer. It was in the books. I cannot explain this why like I feel these things. I can just tell them to you. But it changed. I don't feel it at all. I don't feel it at all currently, like short term in this reality as well. Because they pretty much decided just to rob everyone like this large last time. I think it would be the largest robbery out there. And regions I'm from, they're kind of this view into the future of I think what expects the West as well. People are poor as fuck, a bunch of casino ads. People are constantly doing ads for casino, alcohol, gambling, all this stuff. And just crazy. And I think this is what awaits us. And you can probably see that. You can probably feel that as well. I think situation might get much worse in these years. But I do believe in us. I do believe in humanity. I do believe in Silver Age. I do believe we should win. We should uncover the truth. We should take the control back. And we should unite. Scenario stays the same. With each and every day, we'll probably see more and more conviction in this thing happening. And I want you to listen to me closely. Don't become bullish. Don't trust me here. Think I'm a clown. Think I'm insane. I'm just lost. I just lost like 400, 500k in loans. Why should you listen to me? Don't fucking listen to me. Go listen to influencer. We're going to 40k. Nothing is happening. Next week is bearish. More selling. Go listen to Peter Schiff, right? The whole idea for us is not change the setup. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be seeing you tomorrow.